नमस्कार। आज 30 जनवरी 2022 को डॉक्टर के SCFI की राउंड टेबल एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट में हमारे सभी व्यूअर्स का जो यूट्यूब व फेसबुक से जुड़े हैं और जो हमारे एक्सपर्ट हैं, सबका स्वागत है। और जैसा कि सबसे पहले तो मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि आज जैसा कि अभी एक इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली है कि जो हमारे हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिया के प्रेसिडेंट और हम सबके चहेते पद्मश्री डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल जी की मदर का आज निधन हो गया। और उनके परिवार पे इस दुख की घड़ी में हम सब जो है आज जो जुड़े हैं और जो हमारे एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप के मेंबर्स हैं और उनके जो व्यूअर्स हैं यूट्यूब फेसबुक में, हम सबकी तरफ से फैमिली के लिए और कंडोलेंस प्रकट करते हैं। और हम ये चाहते हैं कि जो दिवंगत आत्मा है उनको भगवान शांति दे, क्योंकि ऐसे महापुरुष की मदर जो है वो हम सबके लिए और पूजनीय कि जो हमारे के अग्रवाल जी इतने हमारे सबके रहे और उनकी मदर जो है तो और एक डबल पूजनीय हो जाते हैं। तो इस घड़ी में परिवार को दुख सहने की शक्ति दे और हम सब उनके परिवार के साथ, ये हमारा डॉक्टर के SCFI का हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन इंडिया का परिवार है, तो इस दुख की घड़ी में हम सब उनके साथ हैं। सबकी तरफ से मैं ये जो है कंडोलेंस प्रकट करता हूँ। और इसी के साथ, क्योंकि डॉक्टर के अग्रवाल का ही कहना था कि सो मस्ट गो ऑन, उनके लास्ट वर्ड थे, फिर भी इस दुख की घड़ी में जो डॉक्टर के SCFI फैमिली है और उसमें हम लोग ये प्रोग्राम अपना स्टार्ट करेंगे। और आज का जो टॉपिक हमने लिया था वो कंटिन्यूएशन में 2 बार से ये प्लास्टिक वेस्ट का, और जो अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने नोटिफाई किए थे सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक का, तो आज का टॉपिक है ड्राफ्ट प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स 2022। और ये टॉपिक इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि अभी रिसेंट अमेंडमेंट भी हुए हैं और पहले से जो है कुछ अमेंडमेंट्स हुए। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया भी ट्राई कर रही है कि जो ये प्लास्टिक का मेनेस है, और हमने लास्ट संडे को बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक था कि इम्पैक्ट ऑफ जो प्लास्टिक वेस्ट ऑन मरीन एनिमल्स, ये भी हमने डिटेल प्रेजेंटेशन हमारे वहाँ के एक सीनियर जो साइंटिस्ट थे नेशनल सेंटर फॉर ये ओशन का जो है चेन्नई का, उन लोगों ने प्रेजेंटेशन दिया था, बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है। तो इसी टॉपिक को आज हम लेके चल रहे हैं। और जस्ट एक बैकग्राउंड देते हुए मैं आज एक प्रेजेंटेशन हमारे जो हमारे कोलीग रहे हैं और आजकल जो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वी केयर के CEO हैं कमल शर्मा जी, वो प्रेजेंटेशन देंगे डिटेल में। और उसके पहले मैं जैसे एक बैकग्राउंड देना चाहता हूँ इस रूल्स में कि जो प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स 2016 थे, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट फॉरेस्ट एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज ने नोटिफाई किए थे, उनको टाइम टू टाइम अमेंड किया गया। और जो लास्ट अमेंडमेंट वाज डन इन दी अगस्त 2021 where certain single use जो plastic commodities were banned and thickness of plastic carry bags has been increased further। जो पहले थी वो 50 से उसको 75 कर दिया और फर्दर प्लान है उसको और आगे बढ़ाने का 2022 में दिसंबर में। तो जो ड्राफ्ट रूल्स अभी आए हैं, दीज आर एक्चुअली बेसिकली ड्राफ्ट रूल्स, ड्राफ्ट प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स 2022। ये नोटिफाई हुए अभी 18 जनवरी को, अभी 10-12 दिन पहले मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट फॉरेस्ट क्लाइमेट चेंज गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने थ्रू दीज जो ड्राफ्ट रूल्स, जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट हैज वाइडन द स्कोप ऑफ दी जो डिफिनीशंस हैं उसकी काफी स्कोप बढ़ा दिया है और इंक्रीज दी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ प्लास्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरर्स एंड इम्पोर्टर्स इन इंडिया। जो बहुत इनकी जिम्मेदारी है मैन्युफैक्चरर्स की और इम्पोर्टर्स की, उनकी जिम्मेदारी बढ़ा दी है। जो एज पर द न्यू रूल्स द डेफिनेशन ऑफ जो सर्टेन आइटम्स है जैसे कि बायोडिग्रेडेबल प्लास्टिक्स है, पोस्ट कंज्यूमर प्लास्टिक है, पोस्ट कंज्यूमर प्लास्टिक वेस्ट है, पैकेजिंग वेस्ट, रिसाइकलर्स, वेस्ट टू एनर्जी, इनकी सब नोटिफाई की है डेफिनेशंस को। और फर्दर जो प्रोड्यूसर, इम्पोर्टर्स और जो ब्रांड ओनर्स हैं उनको एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी, दे शैल फुलफिल द EPR ऑन प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग वेस्ट एज पर जो रेगुलेशन इशूड टाइम टू टाइम। Besides, जो as per the new rules, no person shall manufacture, carry bag or recycle plastic or multi-layer packaging waste unless the person has obtained जो registration from the concerned state pollution control board और central pollution control board। और इसके साथ ही जो environment compensation shall be levied on polluter pay principle those who are not fulfilling the responsibility। तो एक बहुत बड़ा इसमें स्कोप दिया है जो इस तरह से पेनल्टी का भी जो नॉर्मली नहीं होता था, तो ये रूल्स जो हैं काफी कुछ चेंजेस किए हैं, सो दैट कि ये इम्प्लीमेंटेबल हो और इन पे लोगों को फियर हो और अच्छे से इम्प्लीमेंट हो। तो इस रूल्स के मैं अब रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, आज जो हमारे कोलीग हैं हमारे डिपार्टमेंट में, हमारे एनवायरमेंट में रहे हमारे साथ, कमल शर्मा, जो आजकल सीईओ हैं, वी केयर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, और बहुत अच्छा, ये बहुत नॉलेजेबल पर्सन है, और हमारे तो हम लोग तो काफ़ी जो है बहुत आज कम से कम 15 साल से इंटरेक्शन है कमल से, हमारे हम लोग के डिपार्टमेंट में साथ रहे। तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कमल से कि कोर्स यू कैन शेयर प्रेजेंटेशन, पहले आप थोड़ा बता दें फिर अपने विषय में, देन यू कैन शेयर देयर प्रेजेंटेशन। ओवर टू कमल शर्मा।
Thank you, sir. It's been a privilege that my first boss is addressing me like that. And thank you, sir, for all your encouragement, your guidance. And I can say whatever the thought process I have as far as the environment is concerned, Anil sir has contributed to that. So he has laid that foundation in my thought process. So with these words, I would like to thank all the members of this expert group and HCFI leaders who have been doing a lot for the society. My heartfelt condolences on the untimely demise of the mother of Dr. K.K. Agarwal, and it's been a loss for each one of us. So without taking much time, I will just share the presentation so that we all can just look at the content. So I hope you're able to see the presentation.
Yes, Kamal, yes.
Okay. So WeCare is a national consortium of 37 brands right now, major brands who have come together on this issue of plastic waste management and EPR. WeCare is basically a single platform where we can engage with various multiple stakeholders on the issue of plastics. We have done analysis of all the kind of regulations that are coming up from time to time, and AA Garg and Company is our knowledge partner to that. So basically, this presentation is to discuss the draft notification that has been put out by MOEFCC. And from WeCare side and from all the industry side, there were a lot of issues that were, hanging out, but the amendment has resolved a lot of them. So we thank MOEFCC for that. And you can see the key highlights, if I may say, of this notification is that they have inserted new definitions in the rules, which is biodegradable plastics, brand owners, end-of-life disposal, importer, plastic packaging, plastic waste processor, pre-consumer plastic waste, post-consumer plastic waste, recyclers, use of recycled plastic, and waste to energy. So these are the kind of new terms which either they were earlier there, but they have been inserted into the clauses to make it more clearer. Then we have, so I'll just take you to the key definitions that have been inserted. One is the biodegradable plastics. Now the challenge is that the plastic waste management rules are giving exemption to those organizations, exemption from undertaking EPR to those organizations who claim that they are using biodegradable plastic. Right now, we need to have a system who can, vet that yes, this material is biodegradable. So there must be some standards or Indian standards. Then there must be some agencies who are vested with the authority to, test those material and then give the certification. Without this, anyone can come up and they say that my product is biodegradable, and it would be creating havoc in the environment. So this is the some concern. We have raised this issue to MOFCC. They are working on it, interacting with various other organizations. So this is something. If we look at the definition, which means that the plastics other than compostable plastics, because compostable plastics are generally leading to.
Kamal, can you make full screen possible? That full screen can be run.
Okay. fine?
नहीं चलो एनीवे चलिए हाँ yes done yeah thank you.
Okay. So this is something that and then it's degradation by a biological process under ambient environment condition in specified time periods without leaving any microplastics. So it is very important that ministry has recognized that any biodegradable plastics which is claimed in the market should not leave any microplastics in the environment. So this is one. Second is on plastic packaging. They have used the word plastic packaging at various occasions in the clauses, but it was not yet defined. Now it is defined, which means that a plastic packaging material made by using plastic for protecting, preserving, storing, and transporting of products in a variety of ways, which means that any primary packaging as well as secondary packaging would be treated as plastic packaging. Now, plastic waste processors means recyclers and entities engaged in using plastic for energy, so, which means that the cement plants would also be, who are co-processing the plastic waste, would be categorized as plastic waste processors. So this is again because right now cement industry was arguing that we are not falling under the law and all that. So this is now addressing it. Then post-consumer plastic waste, plastic packaging waste. Here we are, earlier there was post-consumer plastic waste, now it is post-consumer plastic packaging waste. Means that include plastic packaging generated by the end-use consumer after the intended use of packaging is completed and no longer being used for its intended purpose. Very clear. Then pre-consumer plastic packaging waste, which means that because there are a lot of packaging which is used in the supply chain, it doesn't go at the end of customer. So basically the role of that packaging is to ensure that the overall consignment is delivered in a safe manner. So which is right now being treated as pre-consumer plastic waste. So this also needs to be addressed by organizations like producers and brand owners, which were earlier not being covered under the law. So this definition has also closed that loophole. Second is the brand owners, which means a person or identity, person or company as any commodity under a registered brand. And the importer means a person who imports plastic packaging products or products with plastic packaging or carry bags or multi-layered packaging or plastic or like anyone who import any kind of plastic packaging is an importer. So so either plastic packaging products or product with plastic packaging. So suppose an organization imports some product which comes in plastic packaging, so they also now need to register as an importer of plastic, because now the packaging which is coming along with that product would be disposed of in the Indian municipal system or waste management system. So that's why their liability is now fixed, that they now have to register. There is a separate form now under this amendment through which they have to apply for registration with the CPCB. Then end of life disposal means plastic waste for generation of energy, which include co-processing. So earlier the amendment was like that it doesn't include, or end of life disposal is something different from co-processing, but now this has clarified that end of life disposal includes co-processing waste to oil or for road construction as per the Indian Road Congress. Now, important aspect here is that when we say end of life, it is basically as per the concept of circularity, this should be the last option. So any waste which we are unable to recycle, or there is no technology to segregate the polymer and getting it back to the supply chain, those kind of plastics are supposed to be qualifying for end of life disposal, which include co-processing, waste to oil, road construction, and all. Then we have recyclers, who are entities which are engaged in the process of recycling of plastic waste. Then use of recycled plastic means recycled plastic instead of virgin plastic is used as raw material in the manufacturing process, which means that the targets for recycling, which have been specified under the draft national regulation on EPR, which was in December 2021. So this is basically providing more clarity to it, that what do we mean by use of recycled plastic, because there are certain targets which have been specified to people. Then waste to energy means plastic waste for generation of energy and include co-processing. So these are the key definitions which are included in the rules. Now, there are certain amendments for the responsibilities of PPOs. Amendments means it is bringing more clarity. So for example, the producer shall fulfill EPR on plastic packaging waste as per the regulations issued under these rules from time to time. So the producer, so this we know. And under sub rule 5 of rule 9, it says that no, earlier content is like that. The producer shall, on after the expiry of the period of 6 months, notification of these rules, or use any plastic or multi-layer packaging for packaging commodity without registration from CPCB if operating in more than 2 states or union territories, the concerned SPCBs or control board as per sub rule 13. It is making more clearer now. So there is nothing like new to it. So, and then amendment in the rule 10 for protocols for compostable and biodegradable plastic. As we explained earlier, it is now the biodegradability has now been very clearly outlined under this draft amendment. However, there are certain ecosystem requirements which needs to be addressed. We are not saying that this is not a good thing, but this is not the only thing. That's what we are saying. So there are other action that needs to be taken in parallelly, which includes defining the proper standardization, having a designated agency to ensure the quality is met. For example, BIS is, we know that is a standardization authority. We need to have a process where an organization can go and apply for getting their material biodegradable, labeled, or or meeting the standards. So these are something that we are requesting MoEF to also look at. Then amendment in the rule 11.1 for marking and labeling. So there are a lot of changes which were suggested in the earlier amendment. However, there were certain things which still needed clarity. So we requested MoEFCC from our representation and many other associations as well, that certain aspects need more clarity, which includes that each plastic carry bag, sheet, or multi-layer. So this information now needs to be printed. Earlier there was some confusion, but on a plastic carry bag, if there is a carry bag or a plastic sheet, then the name and registration number of the producer or a brand owner and thickness of the plastic both needs to be written on that. In case it is MLP, then only the name and registration number producer needs to be written and not the thickness. Now, why the rationale? Why the thickness is not need to be mentioned on the MLP? Because the whole purpose of bringing MLP as a material of choice for production is that it offers a very strong barrier properties with a minimum thickness. तो MLP को लाया ही इसलिए गया था ताकि ओवरऑल पैकेजिंग का वेट रिड्यूस हो जाए और उसका जो बैरियर प्रॉपर्टीज है मॉइस्चर के लिए वो बढ़ जाए. तो उसका थिकनेस बढ़ाने का it would go basically against the R&D that has been done by science so far. So that's why the rationale for bringing thickness onto MLP is not logical, and that's why ministry is not. Secondly, on carry bags made up of compostable plastic, there they need to have the name and certificate number of the producer who is producing it. And again, thickness is not required because it is a compostable plastic carry bag. So there is no logic to have a thickness rationale on it. So, so this is a very clear picture now. And there is, again, on the part of sample of plastic sheets or like what is being specified so far, it says that either the name registration of the manufacturer or producer or brand owner needs to be there. Earlier, the rules were referring, I mean, the language was looking like, it was looking like at a meaning like all the information needs to be there. Manufacturer ka bhi hona chahiye, producer ka bhi hona chahiye, brand owner ka bhi. But now they have clarified that no, either of the three should be imprinted on that plastic sheet. So then amendment number 13 in rule number 13 is basically every importer word has also been added, which means that if you are importing certain kind of plastic packaging, the way we have earlier seen the definition, then you need to apply in Form 1 for registration. And there is a specific format which has also been given in the. Now, as per sub-rule 7 of Rule 13, the registration shall subject to every person recycling or processing plastic waste or proposing to recycle plastic waste adhering to the regulation. This is again, complementing what is being asked for importer. Now, there is another important aspect which is now being included in the rules. Earlier, we have seen that some environmental compensation was imposed on certain brands. However, there was no regulatory rule in the PWM rule for that. Now there is a specific provision which has been inserted. It says that under the above said rule, following are proposed to be added. Environmental compensation shall be levied based on polluter pay principle on person not adhering to the provisions of these rules for the purpose of protecting and improving the quality of environment and preventing, controlling, and abating environment pollution. I mean, basis the polluter pay principle. It also says that CPCB shall lay down guidelines for imposition and collection of environment compensation, and the same shall be notified. So the guidelines for environmental compensation shall be updated as. Again, CPCB is now the authority who would be bringing out specific guidelines in terms of in which conditions it would be seen as a violation, what would be the impact how an impact needs to be calculated. So I believe these aspects must be studied now by CPCB because every regime of environmental compensation should look at these aspects. So CPCB would be bringing out these guidelines. So we have seen that the Form 1 producers, importer, and brand owners, now it is there. Form 2 is under sub-rule 13.3. We have application form for registration of units engaged in processing and recycling of plastic waste. So we know that the draft national regulation on EPR is basically mandating a recycling certificate as a compliance document, which would be submitted by PBOs to the regulators. That the recycling certificate generated by these facilities would be treated as a very important document for compliance. Therefore, they have now also asked included this application form so that those units are also registered under PWM rules and they are also under the compliance net. Then we have manufacturers, application for registration for manufacturers of plastic raw materials, because now the whole idea is to ensure that the plastics which is collected and which is technically possible to get back to the manufacturing. Therefore, it is important for a visibility to have these manufacturers on the compliance net, although they are asked for only registration. 4 is format for annual report by operator of plastic waste processing or recycling facility to the local body. And then there is the form 5 which is applicable for local body, which is a format for annual report on plastic waste management to be submitted by the local body. Then we have a form 6, which is statewide implementation of PWM rules, but there is nothing specified in the rules amendment that who would use this. So the way the format is, we believe that this is the format specified for SPCBs to report to CPCB. But it is yet to be clarified. At least we are not having any clarity. So again, as I mentioned, the rules, the forms, there are certain here, certain changes to make it more clearer. So it is saying that the action plan as per the regulation notified for EPR. So they are basically linking with the draft national regulation on EPR, which was, came out in December. It's already in the discussion, and inputs are sought, and ministry is looking at those comments. Again, for brand owners, same amendment or regulation notified for EPR. Then for importer, we have a new form which now needs to be used for importers for registration. Then in Form 2, we have an application for registration of units, and there is some clarity around it. We have application for registration of manufacturers. We have again, as per the data to be provided. So this is basically a format for the operator of plastic waste processing and recycling facility. So they are integrating it with the earlier amendment, say that the data to be provided as per the regulation on EPR. And then we have a Form 5, which is the format for annual report to be submitted by the local body. And this is basically the state-wise implementation format. So this needs to be submitted by 30th April of every year as in the prescribed pro forma to CPCB. So this is something, so this is all from my side as far as the these amendment rules are concerned. This is all from my side. Over to you.
Thank you, Kamal, for a very detailed presentation on this amendment. Whatever the recently just about 12 days before it will be done, and definitely I hope so. Whatever the clarity was not there earlier amendments, even last in August 2021. So it will be, I think there will be more clarity and more applicability. But before going to the others, my one impression that this is in every city there are some illegal units actually. It's not even the industry or in an industry area or not in any kind of a government regulations, and they're doing so many, I mean, this kind of residential area or the other kind of illegal area. So how can we, because it's more, even then the current rules are the 50 micron thickness or 75 micron thickness, but still you find even 10 micron, 5 microns, 50 microns thickness plastics are there. But government authority is not able to take action, particularly because of the lack of the government staff, machinery, and other things. So how will address these things? This is my because this is a very critical issue there. Kamal.
Yes, sir. You have always been hitting the nail very hard, and this is indeed a very important area. And also for the organizations which are doing EPR. So there are two, if I say there are two types of problems here. One is that the problems which are associated with the manufacturing side, that the manufacturers are not complying with the regulation, they are not having the right thickness. And the other set is basically related to the social issues, where people are subject to harsh environmental conditions, impacting their health, because those units are also not taking care of the operating conditions that are there for their employees. So definitely, sir, these are very very important for all of us. In fact, how this can be addressed, but I think some kind of mass movements needs to be there, maybe through some larger industry associations that who would handhold these manufacturers, that who would tell them that this is the compliance now, this is, and linking with the kind of organizations that they are working. For example, linking back with the manufacturing or the people who are providing the granule to them. So there are certain linkages, because ultimately these things would happen only when there is a business to it, and there is a very strong disincentive if they don't comply. So so that they see that it is better that they comply, and if they don't comply, then there is a very harsh disincentive at their end. So I know that there are a lot of industrial area associations who can take up this initiative. I don't know, sir. I'm just speaking my mind. Um, those industry association, basically their role is to ensure that whatever is being done by their members is complying with the law, but to attract more investment into their industrial area, to attract newer manufacturers into their industrial area. They can reach out to nearby areas, offering some incentives to them, that why you are working here, you come here. But sir, in case of Ganga also, we have seen that government brings out some kind of very specific infrastructure. They go there, they operate their facility, but they also parallelly operate their facility in their older location. So this is something very important for all of us to look at. I don't have a clearer answer here.
I know, because I was in regulatory side. That's what we're facing. Even that's what we want to discuss here. So thank you, Kamal, for answering that. So now we'll start with our expert member. I'll start with Dr. S.K. Tyagi, then Dr. Ramesh, and then we can go further, Sahab. So first, Dr. S.K. Tyagi, sir. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anil. Let me first have my condolences to the mother of Dr. K.K. Agarwal. This is very sad news today. And then we come to today's topic. I congratulate Kamal Sharma ji for very nice presentation, briefing all the aspects. Thank you very much. So this new regulation has cleared many of the doubts in the earlier waste rules, and I hope that this will bring some betterment in the future, particularly in the single-use plastic, banning that, and gradually increasing the micron size of the carrying bags with effect from 30th September 2021. It has already been done 75 micrometer with 60 gram per meter square GSM, and December, with the effect from December, 120 micrometer. So this will have long-lasting impact, that we will get rid of the very thin layer or submicron size plastic. But whatever it is already there, we have to monitor that properly, and there will be two ways to deal that. One is the awareness at the grassroots level, at the ward level, through the, I think, through the different associations, resident welfare association, along with the counselor of the wards. That will be very helpful, I think. And then industrial associations, as rightly pointed out by Kamal Sharma ji. And we have to see how this regulation will be implemented on the ground, because there is certainly staff shortage in all the state pollution control board. But I hope we will have some better results because of this new time bound manner responsibilities of the state board as well as the manufacturer, importer, and all has to be registered. So these are very plus points. So I thank again to the Kamal Sharma ji and Dr. Anil Kumar ji, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tyagi sir. Thank you very much. Now I'll request Dr. Ramesh, who is a MHO in the New Delhi Municipal Council, because he is really on the implementing side from the NDMC, and he is there taking a lot of interest in this area particularly. So I'll request Dr. Ramesh to.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Kumar. Actually, I must congratulate Dr. Kamal Sharma for a wonderful presentation. In presentation, he clears most of our doubts. I must also second Dr. Tyagi has said we have to involve all the stakeholders. Involve all the stakeholders doesn't mean this is the responsibility of the local bodies to carry out all the ITC activity. We have to make responsible to all the stakeholders like CPWD, DDA, RWA, Market Trade Association, Police, PWD, Delhi Board, all should have these stakeholders and they should be responsible. We have to make responsible for banning of the single-use plastic as far as Delhi is concerned. We have a lot of challenges, in fact, on the ground level to ban the single-use plastic. Because Delhi is have multiple organizations, not a state has some all ideology, local body has some, there are problems, PWD, CPWD, they all have their own problems. But as far as the rule is concerned, it's very clear that we have to ban single-use plastic, means less than 75 micron. Still, we are facing the problem, no doubt, because we have a backing of NGT order of less than 50 micron thickness. We have a fine provision, fine penalty provision. We have a fine penalty. In spite of that, those who are not paying fine, what to do? We go post to pillar. What to do? We have talked to our Delhi government officials. We talked to our CPCB officials. We have talked to about NGT officials. What to do, where to go. They said you have to follow the what's plastic waste management rule says. It says or the solid waste management rule says to say in that rule they have to say you have to go to the Environment Protection Act code that we have not located out where this code is. If and one more issues, we have a plastic waste management rule 2016. Local bodies and the state government has to notify. Notify it means whatever the rule says, we have to notify it. But there is most of the ambiguities. There's a lot of pressure to talk about the PET bottles. What kind of PET bottle we have to ban? I must open question in your group. We have already recommended less than 1 liter plastic bottle. It should be banned as well as the New Delhi, as well as the Delhi is concerned. Because if you say about less than 250, because a lot of pressure is there as well as industry is concerned. But ideally, we have to think forward to 20 year, 30 year. If we make below, in fact, I have seen a lot of other states. I visited this Andaman Nicobar. They have banned less than 2 liter plastic bottle, PET bottle. They have banned. And we have also a lot of channel. Delhi is still facing to notify the plastic waste management rule. Still, we are struggling. But no doubt NDMC is basically working hard on the IC activities. No doubt we have a different markets. Bengali market, Khan market, we are motivating, we are doing Chalan. The Resident Welfare Association, Market Association, we are in touch with that. And we are basically working on this IC activity component. Dr. Anil.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ramesh. And definitely this is the, I think, role of the all stakeholders, very important that government, municipal corporations and regulatory authorities and all the kind of association either Industrial Association, Market Association, or RWA, is very, very important. And every whoever the even other organization working like even we care. So this is very important. So thank you, Dr. Ramesh. So now I'll request Dr. Saha and then Sanjeev Kumar ji to his views. Dr. Saha.
Thank you, Anilji. My deep condolences to the sad demise of our Dr. Agarwal's mother. She was 96. With another 4 years addition of his age, he would have completed 100. But we missed that. She missed the opportunity. Anilji, coming to the point, I would like to say and stress upon whatever the rules, regulation, guidelines, whatever is formed, it is for the public. It is for the protection of the public health. But if you see the rule critically, the stress is on the regulation. And regulation cannot resolve everything. That is the first point that we have observed with Water Act, with Air Act. We have miserably failed, whether we accept or don't accept. If we really not able to reach to the public in general, it is not going to solve our problem. Any rules asks for 360-degree complete cycle from manufacturing to recycling, reuse, and then further processing and interaction with the environment that should complete things. Ramesh, I am really agreed with Ramesh ji. We have not really done the things well, how to identify the things. We have only targeted single-use plastic, but not considered the PET bottles. That means we are having a tendency to protect the rich and punish the poor. That is an irrational thing. Protection to rich and punish the poor cannot go side by side. This is absolutely a, at least non-rational thing, I would say in my words. If it is to be done, it is to be done for all, each and every person, and no exception to it. Particularly, as I told you in the many occasions, I am not against stop using plastic, not at all against. But I am not getting the recycling processing plants. The number one is the collection. Number two is the reprocessing or recycling plants was the missing. And that's why the people were dumping the plastics here and there, and that has created a problem. That problem, if you are not highlighting and coming up with another issues of regulations, another set of regulations, I think the regulation of work will increase. They will know the inventory, the quantum is being generated, everything they will know. But the real purpose of environment protection will not be there. This is my personal, exclusively personal perception that I have developed since the plastic waste management and handling rules from that days.
Yes.
Again, I would like, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I will just conclude. How to connect public, that is most important. Because all the shop owners are registered with the municipalities, and the municipalities have to discharge their duties very well. And for the public, I would like to say, each plastic of designated category should be marked with it. Please do not mask our environment with this plastic. Some form of information must go to the public so that they will be careful while handling and use of this plastic. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shah Sahab. Thank you for your very broad views. Time is only, I think, 8 minutes, so we can take to two persons, Sanjeev Kumar and Neeraj ji. So first, I'll request Sanjeev Kumar ji.
I think Kamal Sharma was wanting to raising
Yeah.
his hand to.
Okay,
comment.
Kamal Sharma, yeah, you want to say?
Kamal.
Yeah.
Quickly, 2 points.
Yeah.
So we have a country which is very heterogeneous in character. I mean, we have very different set of municipalities with different capabilities and capacities. When we are looking at a problem statement, for example, in Delhi, so as a person who is looking at the environment in Delhi and also the waste management system, I need to have a problem statement defined in front of me. That what does Delhi needs? Where is the challenge on plastics that Delhi is facing? When it comes to, I mean, yes, there are nuisance value of plastics, but there are, so we have to look at if as a human being, I am not changing my habits of segregation at source. If I remove plastics and bring a new material, that new material would going to cause the impact on environment because I'm not changing my system. I'm not changing myself. I want to change that material. So that is the important area, the important aspect we need to look at. We should not just go for banning, rather bringing out the solutions. There are certain plastics which can definitely be done away with. And MOEFCC has brought out a list of single-use plastics and we agree to it. Now, when it comes to banning certain categories of plastics like PET bottles of a smaller denominations, Andaman has a very different pristine environment. They want to safeguard like that. Delhi has a waste management system working very hard. You won't find PET bottles lying here and there on streets. PET bottles are not a problem for Delhi.
Yeah.
Basically, the other type of plastics needs to be addressed. And that's where our, as Dr. Saha mentioned, there needs to be a public involvement, segregation at source, and whatever we want to do as a country on recycling and enhance the circular economy, it is very important that it starts from every home. At the moment I mix my plastic waste with other type of waste, the whole economy of that plastic waste recycling goes down because that plastic is contaminated with other type of waste. And hence it is not viable for any entrepreneur to work or create its facility. Today also, as far as our experience is concerned, sir, all the kind of plastics which is soiled is basically fed either to the cement plants for co-processing or for road making in some. This is not a good situation. This is not, we are not basically recycling it, rather we are just sending it for waste to energy. If we want to really look at the problem statement, we have to look at from the perspective that which is the issue which is currently lagging me behind, rather than having some kind of actions which would again be pushed by industry that why you are because if you are bringing 1 liter bottle, you are asking people to pay for 1 liter, and some people may not be willing to pay for it, so they would go for other source of water. So in that situation, so we have to look at those aspects as well. So certain solution needs to be brought out. This is the need of that society, and also social involvement is a must. Until and unless we ensure that, we would again be into this vicious cycle of banning and these things. This is my view.
Yeah, thank you again, Kamal. So we can take quickly the Sanjeev Kumar ji and Neeraj ji.
एक मिनट कमल जी को ऐड करना चाहता हूँ. कमल जी, thank you very much for recently I also visited Andaman and there I found they have created some pockets wherein they have created selfie zone using only plastics, different colors of plastics, and to the mass awareness, people they are telling through this selfie zone. selfie, what you call it, a selfie zone, what I call it, selfie area. And they made the people, they're trying to make the people aware that these are the dangerous, and take the photographs. In future, you will not get it. Your attention should be like that. That message they are spending. And that is the thing just I wanted to tell. And we also should do, every schools and colleges, these are our past, and future it should not come. There's so many things we have left out in the past, and the new things have come up. So likewise, everywhere, Kamalji, if you agree, because we care means we have to care ourselves. We have to create some innovative ideas so that it go to each and every public that it is our past. So take future, take a photo here, that selfie point. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sahasa. So Sanjeev Kumar ji again.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations to Mr. Kamal Sharma for presenting the differences what new plastic waste management rule, and enlightening all of us about the change in rule and how it's going to impact. I would like to speak on the front that the issue remains that yes, we cannot move away from plastic, but the bigger challenge is how do we have a segregated collection, and obviously finding a way of the solution through recycle or disposal. So as far as segregated collection is a big challenge, and I would like to give a thought for consideration or review, is that we have become so tech savvy that everything we scan, for even a single rupee, we are scanning and paying it. Even if a single pocket, whether it is like less than the plastic which we are carrying through vegetable or any other material, it should have a barcode which we can scan, and the barcode should go to the producer, and the consumer should be given a benefit even if single paisa it is. That way that we will know that whether Mr. Sanjeev Kumar uses more of plastic or whether Dr. Anil Kumar uses more. So user and the user can be benefited initially, but then tomorrow he will be penalized for using it more. And once he knows that so much of he is generating, then we have a complete data bank as to where the plastic and what type of plastic is going. So this is one way we would, I would just like to present it. And once it is known that from which are the people, which is the category, what middle class, poor class or high class, whichever is using, we will be able to know that the generation and obviously the collection plan can be done. So data collection can happen and it will lead to a solution. The second thing which Dr. Saha said, that it is rich versus poor. Sorry, sir, it is not rich versus poor. It is the method that how we are, in fact, with using like this, we will see that there is in Delhi, we don't find any other plastic moving around other than the single-use plastic, which is just flowing into the drains. Otherwise, there is no plastic. Whenever we move out in any city, whether it's a very small hometown of, I belong to a very small hometown in Bihar, even there also I don't get, because people of single use, generally they put under their bed and they reuse it. So it is not that. The issue is more on how do we help this single-use plastic not going into the drains. The problem lies there and that needs to be addressed.
Thank you, Sanjeev Kumar ji. Now, before going to Neeraj ji, I'll request Dr. P.K. Sharma ji, NDMC से join किया है, advisor हैं. तो अगर डॉक्टर साहब कुछ you want to say anything, sir?
Yeah, I just want to say one word, that we are speaking every day that it should be done, it should not be done. Why we are not putting any bar on manufacturing of these things? If these things are not manufactured and the manufacturers are stopped to manufacture all these things, don't you think that there will be a big impact in the society?
Yeah, that is the particularly, I think, Government of India that has been doing even different amendments. Kamal can better explain because the industry side also, the manufacturing of like single use, that's Kamal. Yeah.
Sir, we know where the plastic industries are. We know where these are being sold.
But Dr. Saab, illegals
We know
also,
everything.
illegal industries also there without any control, without any government or corporation
Sir,
control, so many, like in Delhi and every city. That
Yes, sir. Sir, definitely, sir. That's why I am saying that we should directly attack the place where it is being manufactured.
पर सर दिल्ली में देखा कितने रूल्स सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रूल्स में आ गए, कितने आप लोगों ने सब जो है ड्राइव चलाए, बट अगेन इलीगल इंडस्ट्री की जो है ये खत्म नहीं हो रहा है.
Yes, sir, I know, sir. So government, central government has to take some or other step for this, sir.
Kamal, can you?
Sir, I think, yeah, sir. So last year there is a clear list of SUP which are now banned at a national level, and that ban would be applicable from 1st of July of this year.
Yeah.
So all we have also seen that various state governments have also started cracking down on certain categories of plastics. In addition, they are also bringing out their own state level notification, which has the same list, which has been notified by MOEFCC. So, sir, we see on that part, we foresee that after 1st of July, we would start seeing that impact because national, movement is started against single use.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you again. Now I'll be already 1 o'clock. So I'll request last Neeraj ji to say very quickly if you want to say, but otherwise we can take further in the next session.
Yeah, namaskar. First of all, I give my tributes and prayer for expired mother of Dr. K.K. Agrawal, pioneer and mentor of this platform. Abhi bhi kyunki time bilkul kam hai, or the next opportunity I may give a presentation also, but 2-3 points I am emphasizing. First of all, we must ban completely all the plastic products, just like in other countries. Germany has banned the products, plastic products. तो वो बीमारी जड़ से खत्म हो जाएगी. दूसरे बायोडिग्रेडेबल जो बायोप्लास्टिक है उसके यूज को बढ़ाया जाए. और तीसरा है रिसाइकलिंग एंड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट के लिए फोकस किया जाए. उसमें एक अलग से एक मिनिस्ट्री बनाई जाए गवर्नमेंट से, और एक हेल्पलाइन नंबर. जैसे एक्सीडेंट होता है तो इमीडिएटली हम कॉल करते तो आ जाते हैं. इसी तरह से कहीं प्लास्टिक को कोई बर्न कर रहा है या मिसयूज हो रहा है वेस्ट का, तो हमारे पास एक हेल्पलाइन नंबर हो और वहां पर सरकारी कोई भी एजेंसी इस तरह से आके वहां एक्शन ले सकती है. तो ये मेरे कुछ पॉइंट्स हैं. डिटेल में अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी तो आई मे गिव प्रेजेंटेशन आल्सो.
थैंक यू नीरज जी. और इसी के साथ बिकॉज ऑलरेडी और संडे होता है तो मैं बहुत ज्यादा इसको आज आगे नहीं कर सकते हैं. सबको लंच टाइम होता है फैमिली के साथ. सो अगेन कमल को बहुत थैंक यू, बहुत डिटेल प्रेजेंटेशन दिया और हमने तो बहुत साथ में काम किया कमल के. सो आई नो दैट ही इज दी वेरी वेरी हार्ड वर्क एंड डिलिजेंट पर्सन, और आगे भी हम लोग ऐसे काम करते रहेंगे. थैंक यू ऑल एक्सपर्ट्स हमारे जिन्होंने आज अपने व्यूज एक्सप्रेस किए. आई होप सो कि डेफिनेटली इससे हमारा जो है, जो भी हमारे व्यूअर्स हैं, चाहे आप बाद में भी देखते हैं, बहुत सर्च करके यूट्यूब और फेसबुक वगैरह पे है, और इसके हम जो भी हम रिकमेंडेशंस करेंगे इसके स्टेटमेंट के बाद. सो आई थिंक अगर जरूरी हुआ तो वी कैन हैव वन मोर फाइनल सेशन, बिकॉज प्लास्टिक पे हमने काफी डिस्कस किया. वी कैन प्रेजेंट सम रिकमेंडेशन और डिस्कस विद दी. बट आई रिक्वेस्ट कमल की एक प्रेजेंटेशन जो है ये अगर ग्रुप में डाल देंगे तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा. सबको जो है ये जो आपने बनाया आज का इसको ग्रुप में डाल दीजिएगा. और मैं सपना से एक रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि अगर सब लोग वीडियो ऑन कर लें, एक जो है एक ग्रुप जो है क्लिक कर लें. सपना हाँ आ रही है. आप कर लीजिए ग्रुप का, सब लोग वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिएगा. जी जी. सो थैंक यू ऑल दी अवर एक्सपर्ट मेंबर्स. एंड आज का क्योंकि हमारे बहुत बड़ी जो हमारे जो SCFI फैमिली है, डॉक्टर KK फैमिली, उनकी मदर को अगेन हम सब की तरफ से जो दिवंगत आत्मा है उसकी शांति के लिए, कि जहाँ भी वो जो बहुत ही प्योर सोल जो जारी अग्रवाल साहब के जो हमारे सबके बहुत चाहते उनकी मदर हैं, तो हमारी सबकी तरफ से ये प्रार्थना ईश्वर से कि जहाँ पे है वो शांत रहें, अच्छे से रहें, और वो प्योर सोल को हम सबकी तरफ से कंडोलेंस. और इसी के साथ हम आज की ये जो मीटिंग हमारे जो एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट है डॉक्टर KK SCFI का, और नेक्स्ट संडे फिर मिलेंगे. इसी के साथ सबको धन्यवाद करते हुए नमस्कार.
थैंक यू.